My gosh. Oh, the camera's off again. Doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle-doodle. Whoop, whoop. There it is. Jump scare. Gotcha. Man. I have been waiting so long, and I'm so happy that I'm so sick. I mean, all this breathing uninterrupted, all this not having chest pains was getting kind of dull. And, now that I feel like I need to sleep for 13 hours a day, I mean, it's just what we all want. You know what I mean? I won't drink tea any other way other than when I'm sick and I feel absolutely terrible. Here we go. Oh, fantastic. I wanted to use some of the honey that was in my house. I really did. So we're good. We're all good. Yeah, somebody just said, hey, that shout out to this person. Who said this? Ashley? Candace was 3 hours late. No one cared. Oh, no, that's not the one. Wait. Somebody was complaining about ads. I don't know. I've had YouTube Premium since forever, so I have no idea how many ads there are. Hey, Candace was 2 hours late, and no one cared. Whoop, whoop. I mean, 100% on the nose. Shout out to you, Jayberg. Holler at you. Thank you very much for that. Let's jump in here, guys. Let's just start it off real quick. We can just spread this around, guys. We can just spread this around. Mega, please. Who made this? Ryan Amundsen. Mega, please. Just spread it around, guys. I think it's a good one. Spread it around. Somebody said that M said she felt like she needed a pass just to say mega, please. You don't need a pass to say mega, please. Mega, please. You kidding me? Thomas Massey, flicking megas. Mega, please. It's completely fine. Don't worry. Everybody who came here today gets a pass. Everybody's getting a pass. Here you go. Come on. Everybody gets a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. You get a pass. It's mega. It's fine. Anyway. Anyway, let's jump into what's really important. Blake Neff, just catching well-deserved strays, I have to say. Candace Owens said good morning to everyone, especially Blakey Neff. Then we had this very zesty picture of him. This isn't even as zesty as he gets, quite honestly. The pink shirt actually looks good on him. I'm not gonna lie. Then Blake comes back like 24 hours later and says, hey, did you manage to find Commander Neff yet? This is how out of touch the people at Turning Point are. Yes, everybody already found this Commander Neff. What are you talking about? And Candace is just like, you mean Captain Adam Neff? That question Mitch Snow? Yes, identified him very quickly. Do you know him? Of course. Everybody saw this guy. Everybody knows who this guy is. Blake was the last one to know. Did you find him yet? Yeah. 3 months ago, Blake. 3 months ago, everybody found him. What are you talking about? Okay. Anyway, if you're on X, then you've had fun with what we've been doing on X. If you're not on X, I'm going to catch you up. I told everybody I'm going to tell my kids that this was Blake Neff. And listen, what's the problem? What's the actual problem here with me doing that? I mean, I'm just saying, is that really a big problem? Right? I put it out there. Seems like everybody loved it right away. I mean, 54,000 views, which means Blake Neff for sure saw it and he's pissed. And, you're a friend of the show, so you don't have to be upset, sir. I mean, everybody started. Blake spotted consoling Erika. I mean, just crazy. Blake Neff when he learns who Tobias is. Everybody had a great time with that. And listen, it's all good. Friend of the show, 100%. You're invited in. Definitely a never nude. I was unaware that Blake Neff did not look like that. I mean, everybody chimed in. It's completely fine. Listen, Dave Cross is a gem. Okay. I'm not going to hear anything different. It's completely fine. Someone said, no, Blake is a bottom. Tobias would be a top. I told my kids this was Blake Neff. That's wow. I think we have a winner. I think that outdid mine. That outdid mine for sure. People, everybody had something to say. It's fine. It's fine. I don't know. I think it's great. I think this is fantastic. What's the big deal? Oh, that's another good contender for Blake Neff. Listen, Blake, friend of the show, man. None of this is hate. This is 100% love. This is a beloved character right here. Barron was like, you actually have to post a picture that's not Blake. That's what Barron said. You have to actually post something that's not Blake. Oh, gosh. Anyways, guys, we're going to be talking about Candace. Blake Neff, friend of the show. You're invited anytime. Anytime you have a steaming hot platter of Fed slop for all of us, please join the show. Bring spoons, forks if necessary. I've heard the Fed slop is quite hearty, so a fork you may be able to just dish it out with a fork. Ladle, if you really want to get in there. Gary Paramount tactical style, get a ladle. Anyway, so I'm sick, but I'm not done. Okay, I'm sick, but I'm not. We push. This episode is gonna be a little shorter because honestly, my throat, my chest, it's done. I'm done. I could go to sleep right now if you guys would let me, and you guys would still like and subscribe and watch. I would go to sleep right now in front of everybody, no problem. Maybe that's for another channel. Maybe I'll make a different channel for that. But we're going to talk about Candace Owens. We're going to be touching on what Candace has going on in her last episode. Victor Marx, she spoke on a little bit. We'll play a little bit of that, but more so, we're going to play Victor actually answering Candace. I don't know if you guys know this. He was on a very small podcast. Not saying it's not a good podcast. It's actually a great set that they have set up. I've never seen these guys before. They have about 629 subscribers. So he made sure to go on that podcast, and he was addressing Candace Owens via that podcast. Very weird, but at least his eyes weren't black in the podcast. So we're good there. He didn't retool anybody, didn't retool anybody's tools, anything like that. So, Corby is marked safe in this whole thing. So we're all good there. But he does address it. So we'll touch on that a little bit. Then Candace starts talking about the AI cloning, and she gets into that company, which has made me rethink what I was saying. I mean, it does sound stitched to me, but also I'm starting to, I don't know, that company, that was pretty good. What she just put out there in terms of that company. And the fact that company actually reached out to them. Andrew Colvet even revealed that companies like that have reached out. Says he doesn't want to work with them at all. Who knows what actually happened behind the scenes? And then we're going to touch on just the last bit of what Candace was talking about in regards to Gary from Paramount Tactical. Your president feels that he does not have to think about your financial situation whatsoever. So that's a nice little twist. Rather than having a politician lie about it. Also, there was a mayor of a Democrat city that was a Chinese spy. No big deal. And then we're going to talk about the dark arrangement that has taken place. The panel. I've wanted to talk about this for a long time. We're going to discuss the panel near the end. Larry Ellison, Mark Zuckerberg, and others. Very, very weird panel that's been put together. And the Everglades is on fire. It's completely on fire. But who cares about that? Anyway. Everglades on fire. I mean, whatever. Too many pythons in there anyway. Heard there's some crocodiles in there. I don't know. Listen, they were going to build a data center where this patch of Everglades were, and there was some protest, but conveniently, now it's on fire, so we don't have to argue anymore. And it's not even that big. It's not even that big. It's like 3 million square feet. It's not even that big. It's not even that big when it comes to data centers. It's like a mini data center. What's everybody getting all in a hubbub about? Someone said alligators. No, crocodiles. They have seen sightings of Nile crocodiles in the Everglades. That's a real thing. And they're breeding with alligators. It's crazy. It's wild. But anyway, it doesn't matter because there will be a data center there from now on, you know? Anyway. Oh gosh, let's jump in, ladies and gentlemen. Candace Owens looking very upset, not putting her hair back, deceiving all of us as she brings smoke to so many people. Day 40, as you can see, right here, day 40. If she puts that, see, this is what would be better. If that calendar that says 40 days right now, if she just put this picture right beside it, mwah, that would be perfect. But we can't tell her what to do. She already knows what she's doing here. So let's jump in right now. Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen.
I still have a lot of questions about Victor Marx.
Of course, I'm listening to it 3 times speed because that's how your boy does it. Okay, right? Anyway, we do at least a little faster than normal.
I went off to Italy to do my confirmation, got distracted. I had mentioned to you that despite him doing all those public posts about me, he didn't respond to my Instagram message. And then he did. I just checked actually saying he did while I was in Italy. He finally answered. And so I'm going to set a time for him to, at least attempt to set a time for him to appear on the show and answer some questions. Question number 1 I probably have is, why was Victor Marx the first documented public person to do a video announcing that Charlie had passed long before the president of the United States or anybody else? Who was it that told him that Charlie was dead? Right? We may or may not get a solid answer to that, but it certainly registers to me as odd. Also, when and how did he get so close to Erika, Dr. Kirk? So close, in fact, that he was in her immediate circle of comfort after her husband was brutally murdered in front of the entire world. As soon as she flew back home to Arizona, he was there to offer her a hug in her home, and might add, her personal space. I have since learned that at some point, Charlie and Victor Marx had a real falling out. The reason why, I'm not sure. But it was apparently bad enough, according to insiders at Turning Point USA, that Charlie and Victor actually stopped following one another on social media for a period of time. So I'll ask rhetorically, when and why and how did Erika remain or become so close to Victor Marx? Because on the basis of the stories that we've heard about him, some of them from Victor himself, he seems to me to be a bit dangerous, right? A tad unstable, if I may. I don't really buy his pastoral act for 1 minute. And we checked, and it appears that the last time Victor Marx had done anything publicly with Charlie, appeared on Charlie's show, it was in October of 2023. What happened in October of 2023?
I think we all know what happened, right? We all know what happened. Let me see if I can censor this really quick.
Well, Victor Marx appeared on the Charlie Kirk show to provide Charlie with frontline reporting from, you guessed it, Israel. After October 7th. Naturally, of course, Israel. Victor Marx went straight there despite its heightened security state due to his contacts in the IDF. He was able to get there. Don't believe me? Take a listen to Victor.
Now, I just want to say that Erika's a doctor, so a little disrespectful for her to not call her doctor. We literally just went over this. A little disrespectful of Candace. Got to call it out. I got to call it out. And also, Victor does address exactly what Candace is saying in this episode, which is weird. I guess Candace has said this before, but let's just jump in just to hear Victor's explanation. And be prepared, because it's not a good explanation. It's but don't let me poison the well here. You decide if this is a good explanation. Do I have it on 4 times speed or what? Yes, of course I do. And I will put it back to normal right now. Now, again, I should shout out this channel because it's called The Daily Carry. The Daily Carry. Again, very small channel. Not sure how they know Victor or anything like that, but they decided to do an interview with Victor. And Victor decided this is where he was going to air out what he felt like was going on with Candace.
Actually being accused of at the core. And what's your direct response?
Well, I think because in the political world, no one can come against my policy. All they're trying to do is attack my reputation, which people can say whatever they want. It's the character that doesn't move, who I am, who I really am. There's so many allegations on all kind of stuff. I haven't even watched or listened to everything Candace put out, but I listened to enough of it, or somebody would say, hey, and I just go, this is insane.
So a big question that I think a lot of people want an answer to is, she claims on one of
This dude right here looks like his brother. They look like they have the same style beard. They look oddly similar. This is crazy. They might be related. Someone said they run his guns. Hey, come on. Hey, you don't know that. And even if they do, it's all legal. It's all legal.
her most recent episodes, that there was a major falling out. This is a direct quote from her.
Charlie Kirk stopped speaking to Victor Marx entirely. Their relationship, I mean, like, unfollowed each other. I've spoken to several people about this. They didn't know what the falling out was about, but there was a very big falling out between Charlie and Victor Marx.
A major falling out between you and Charlie Kirk, especially after reports that you mutually unfollowed each other on social media. Did you two have a genuine falling out, or is that being misunderstood?
So here's my question back. If I can prove that she's completely wrong, wouldn't that discredit her from everything else?
No, that's not how that works. This guy's trying to find a shortcut. He's trying to find a shortcut really quick. Listen, if I can kind of prove something wrong, don't we have to drop everything she's ever said before? Isn't that how that works? That's exactly how that doesn't work. But since you're doing this interview with your brother and his son, it's literally his nephew and his brother, it seems like. Maybe that is how it works on this podcast. Not sure.
That's the point I'm trying to make. When people make allegations, if I take the time to actually disprove them, they should be discredited. It's like, we should be done with this now. So to your point in that accusation that we had a falling out and we unfollowed, do you have access to the internet right now?
Yes, sir.
Go to Instagram if you would for me while we're sitting here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I'm not connected actually. Is there a Wi-Fi for me to get on?
I don't know.
They're at Victor's house, by the way. Yeah. You connected to the internet right now? Give them the password, bro. Come on.
Are you on Instagram?
I see ATP guest. Does anybody have the password?
Roger, can you get Dan? He should have it, or the media team. Because we're gonna prove that absolutely is false.
Okay.
Right now.
So there's no falling out.
No. None. Okay. But I'm gonna prove it because I can say no, but
Sure.
hey Dan, can you give them access?
It's Dan Flood. It's just Dan Flood. Dan Flood's just sitting there like, huh? What'd you say? Huh? What? You need access to the internet? Oh, just give me a second. I'll get you access to the internet. No, I'm not doing any signals.
Or do you have a phone that has access to Instagram right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Go there for me. And go to Charlie Kirk, his Instagram. So the reason why this is unpatently false is one, we never unfollowed each other. If somebody took the time to go to Instagram, simply look under his followers and see if I'm still in there.
Okay.
If I'm not, then okay, maybe she has a point. If I'm still in there, it kills everything else. She's discredited. And it just means someone was so lazy, they couldn't even look that up. People want deep, in-depth, dark, stuff about me. You got to prove that I'm like, if something this basic and simple is wrong, the conversation's over.
So, little did we know, Victor, although he looks like a near 60-year-old man who occasionally has black eyes, he looks that way, but in actuality, he is a 16-year-old girl, because that's the mentality of a 16-year-old girl. Of course, we're friends. We follow each other. If we're following each other, obviously that means we're friends. No, it doesn't. You You know how many people I'm following on Instagram that I don't like? I follow Officer Tatum, for God's sakes. What are we talking about here? I follow Tim Pool. You think I love Tim Pool? Are you kidding me? This is the dumbest. This is the most ridiculous. Go check if we're following each other. Just go check it out, right? Because if we're following each other, that means we were really close friends. Hey, man. Hey, that's not what that means. It just means that he didn't unfollow you. Because sometimes people don't want the beef. I'm sure you have friends like this too, where you're like, I wish I could unfollow this guy, but he's going to see, and then he's going to message me, and I'm going to have to be like, oh, I didn't realize. I'm going to have to explain why I don't like him anymore, and I don't want to have to explain, and it's going to be a thing. So I'll just keep following him, but I'm just not going to talk to him anymore. That's how that works. Someone said, keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. It could be that. It could be that too. I don't know that Charlie thought of him as an enemy, but you know, Charlie was probably like, wow, this guy's eyes go really black. That's very weird. I don't know. I've been searching the Bible up and down. I can't find anything about that. That's kind of odd. He also runs guns internationally. I feel like as I'm building Turning Point, I don't know if I should be friends with a guy like this. I'm really not. I'm not 100% sure. Charlie was somewhat smart, right? I don't know how many gun runners I should have in my Rolodex. I'll have a few, but I don't want to have too many. I think I should stop talking to this gentleman. He tried to retool my wife the other night. I didn't really like that. I didn't appreciate that. Tried to put me inside a pentagram and light candles all around me and told me that this is what Jesus wants. I don't know. I just felt like it wasn't biblical. I'm sure he's a great guy, though. I'll just keep following him. You know, it's that kind of thing. Anyway, we'll play a little bit more of this, but not much more.
Are you on yet?
I'm online.
Still not on the
something that
internet?
Candace-
Jeez.
Something that Candace would probably refute or rebuttal with is that Erika has access and the TPUSA team has access. What would you say if that was brought up? Let's say that Candace watches this and she says, oh, well, they have access to his social medias. They refollowed Victor Marx. What would you say if that came up? If she said that or alleged that?
Well, then she should have put that in original allegation. That's just spitting in the wind. She said we unfollowed each other. It's a fact. It's a complete lie.
Okay. While they're pulling that up, let's go ahead and go to the next question, unless you already have it pulled up. So we can look at this and we'll show it to the camera as well. This is on Charlie Kirk, 1776. He is, in fact, following Victor Marx.
Bingo.
So to your point, should this not discredit somebody?
You got to be discredited if you say something and it's not true. That's why I'm running a full campaign for governor. I don't have time to rabbit trail all these accusations. It's like if I prove somebody wrong.
You don't have time? You're on a podcast. And this podcast is how long? This podcast is an hour and 16 minutes. And you're running for governor. And you're talking about Candace Owens within the first 7 minutes of the podcast. I think you have time, sir. Okay? All right? Let's be clear, okay? That's like me saying I don't have time. I don't have time to talk about that Candace Owens. I don't have any time to talk about that Candace Owens or that Baron Coleman or that Ian Carroll. I don't have time for all this. Are you joking? How quickly I would be discredited if I said something like that. How quickly the audience would discredit me. And they would be like, sir, Exhibit A, all of your thumbnails. And I'd be like, oh, well, this is just spitting in the wind. This is just spitting in the wind. She's just a pretty lady. That's why I put her in my thumbnails. It has nothing to do with anything. You couldn't prove that I talk about her. And you'd be like, oh, Colin's a moron. Didn't realize. But yeah, so that's his response to that, is that there was no falling out. But, and I'll search really, really quick. I would love to know within all this, addressing full AR, Victor Marx, Corby. So he talks about Corby quite a bit in this podcast. I'm sure Corby is aware of this. Clarifying the retooling prayer. Ooh, I actually have, we actually should listen to that. Victor Marx. Okay. Let me just keep going here. I just want to see if he addresses why he was one of the first people to say that Charlie had passed on, but he didn't. So let's just hear about the satanic tooling prayer, just real quick, guys. Just real quick. Just really quick.
I came into it after he had done it. He pitched me on it, and I thought, this is brilliant. Because back when school shootings are going on, I thought that's a great way for a resource officer to carry a backpack, have to walk around strapped. I believed in it so much that our organization donated money to put these in one of the school districts in Texas. It's all documented. There's, press release. I was hoping that people would catch that vision because I thought it was a great idea. When I realized, man, this fella Corby's not in this for the pure.
Damn it, I'm doing it. I can't believe it. I can't believe I was doing it. Damn. Happened again. God. Once an episode? Come on. Come on. Man. Well, if I've learned anything from Baron, I'm not starting the clip again. I'm just going to press play now, okay?
First reasons is when I said, Corby, if your greatest passion is to get these weapons in the hands of resource officers, if I help you sell your company and you make, whether it's large sum or monthly, why don't you just self-fund? You can make them at the cheapest level. You self-fund, take part of your profit, and then start giving them out to, he said he wouldn't do it.
Did you say why?
Yeah, he didn't want to spend the money. And I just went, what the hell, man? That's when I went, oh, okay. That was the definitive moment for us. I go, this guy's in it for money. He's now using, and I realized that the murder of children in school shootings to try to profit from it. It ain't this purest deal he's putting out. I'm like, yeah, no way.
So
No, I get that. I 100% get that. It's not like Victor Marx was in Haiti dealing with somebody named Jimmy Barbecue and trying to figure out how to help them with their arms and whatnot. It's not like this guy, a lot of people, they're running firearms for money, like shills. Victor is running firearms out of the goodness of his heart. And you don't know many people like that, guys. You don't know many people like that. So don't laugh. Don't laugh. Okay? I'm just saying. He's a good man. Oh, he's doing this for money. And then I found out this guy's running his business for money. And he's expecting money when he does transactions. I was like, this is crazy. And that's when I decided I had to retool him. Anyway. Just talk about the retooling prayer. Let's get into this. Come on, Victor.
the biggest controversies that Corby has presented here that Candace has latched onto, and there's a lot of questions circulating. We see the picture painted by Corby and by you, and this is what you are in alignment with, and that is that he showed up with a lot of issues and struggles he was going through.
Yeah.
Struggling with his marriage, struggling with his business, struggling with his finances. And he showed up, and you and your wife tried to do what you could to help them.
Yeah.
And what's been talked about and circulating is a retooling prayer.
Mr. Mark then performed what he described as a retooling prayer.
So for those who are listening and maybe don't understand what that is, could you just explain what is a retooling prayer? And is it something concerning? Is it something inappropriate? Or how would you describe it?
Well, I would say it's called prayer. It's just praying for people. I actually believe prayer works. And we call it retooling prayer because it's specific to helping what I would call break oppression on people's lives. I believe in good and evil. I believe in angels and demons. Nobody refutes that. But I believe that if we take the authority of Christ as outlined in the Bible and pray specifically, Jesus said, you have not because you ask not. And people get, I think it's true. It's, there are people in this room I've prayed for with the retooling prayer. There are people in the Pentagon, generals, in some of the most key positions of our military that I've prayed for. I pray for kids who are incarcerated, celebrities. It's just a prayer that people tend to get relief on. And I don't.
Hey, man. Hey, Are you going to explain it or not? This guy's really a politician. Hey, man, are you going to explain what it was? They said Corby said way too much for this guy to just be like, it's just prayer, man. I just believe in prayer. Hey, I just have a friend. Maybe you heard of him. His name's Jesus Christ. And I just think that guy is the bee's knees. You know what I mean? I think he is just the honey in my tea, ladies and gentlemen. And I love loving on him. And I love when he loves on me. Hey, man, explain the tooling prayer immediately. Okay? This is crazy.
Well, that's all there is to it, which I think at this point, we have to be very aware. Is this a form of Christian prosecution? People want to hush Christians up. It's like, what? Why would anybody come against somebody praying? Nothing bad has ever happened.
I think that it's been framed as some type of a cult type prayer activity. I think that's very much the intent in the frame that it's been attempted to put in, but different denominations pray differently. And we have a freedom of religion in this country, and we have every right to practice and to pray how we're convicted to. I think that something that's really important that I remember hearing you state is that you encouraged Corby to record that prayer.
Yeah.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And you would normally encourage people to record
I
that
always
prayer.
do.
Which to me speaks to the openness behind it, and it's nothing done in secret or nothing that's being hidden. But
And I'd care to share.
So they're not even going to talk about it. He's not even going to address what the prayer actually is. He just throws out that he's done it for generals. Let me tell you something. He just throws out that he's done it for generals, people in key positions, kids, and inmates. I'm telling you, that's not the flex that you think it is. I'm putting it out there. Those people all have something in common. They have positions of power and they're vulnerable. Just putting it out there, you know, demonic filibuster. That's exactly what's going on. Like, what is this? Oh man, the prayer. I don't know. It's just it's just prayer, man. We just pray sometimes, you know, and sometimes, maybe you want to get inside a circle and, maybe my eyes turn black and I summon a demon and then maybe I talk to the demons for a while. We have a good time talking, but it's just like any other prayer. And then I call angels and the angels rip the demons apart. I mean, it's just normal. It's just normal. It's just what everybody does when they have prayer, and celebrities too. Everything that's associated with the occult, everything that the occult goes after, young people in key positions, celebrities, authority and vulnerability, authority and innocence. Anyway, I don't know, but he does address it. But the one thing that he doesn't address is why he was the person to first say something about Charlie Kirk passing. And, call me cynical. I don't think we're going to get that answer from Mr. Marx, It's crazy to even trust somebody with the last name Marx, Anyway. Anyway, Candace Owens, ladies and gentlemen, let's get into the AI. Let's get into the AI voice cloning. Let's get into that because the company that she finds is wild little company she found here. Let's get into that.
A lot of organizations and groups, as soon as a founder leaves, it just kind of collapses. A lot of my job is not always in the day-to-day details. It's very much vision casting, very much driving success. But we have a great board, and God forbid if something happens, they'll figure it out. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job. I appoint my wife to run Turning Point USA if something happens to me. Erika would do a great job.
It just doesn't flow when you hear it. And it's also remarkably formal. I appoint my wife if anything should happen to me. It's like exactly the sentence that he needed to say, he said. Not just like, oh, Erika can do it. Yeah, I mean, she'd be great at that, whatever. Hopefully we don't have to think about that question until down the line.
So I just wanted to show that to you guys because, just a little refresher and then get into what Candace is actually talking about here when she actually shows us the company, which I did not think was going to happen. Pretty wild that they actually, and again, just so you guys understand, she does bring up this, forget what his name is that she brings up. I think his name is Marcus, but Andrew Colvett did discuss this in the New York Times interview that they were approached by a company that does this sort of thing. And Andrew was like, oh, we would never do that, but who knows? Anyway, let's keep going.
We can confirm that with Marcus Wada. I can't confirm that they created any content for him. But I would like to show you on their website what they say they specialize in. Let's just click around, right? Here we go. It tells us here they do voice cloning. Yet another example of our AI capabilities is the recreation of a specific voice cloning, using a bespoke AI model for that exact voice. There is no accent or colloquialism that we cannot generate. Case in point, this project for Fanatics Collectible, where we had to reproduce the unique timbre and intonation of the deceased baseball commentator, Skip Carey, or Skip Carey. Sorry, I'm not a baseball fan, guys. I don't know how to say his last name. That tells us to listen to his original voice, then to listen to this recording from the hired actor that was then read, a new script, and then finally listen to our voice cloning of Skip Carey's AI voice, despite him passing away nearly 20 years ago. Oh, that's interesting, because I have donors telling me that they are convinced that it is AI. They were there. And Charlie never said this super formal statement. I appoint Erika Kirk if anything were to happen to me. Many people emailed us, by the way, that work in AI and have worked in AI in years. They were like, Candace, I am telling you 100% that is AI. I don't claim to be an expert. I just claim to follow interesting leads like this. This is not all they do, by the way. They also can make videos. They can take a video of somebody, maybe somebody, as an example, giving a presentation in Aspen, just as an example. And if they needed to add a sentence or two, these would be the guys to do it. Let's actually click around and take a look at their deepfakes here. Where if you want to pull back up that website, Sky, where they explain how you're going to see this original UK woman say something in a commercial, and then they are going to, you guys having some internet issues? No worries. Let me know when it's back up. Okay, cool. They pulled the video already. So, and then they're going to take this original UK commercial, and then they're going to make her say it in German, make the man that's also in the commercial say it in German. They're going to make them say it in French, and how they did this for their clients, and their clients were like, still looks a little uncanny. Something's off. And then they were able to further get the mouth to behave correctly and say stuff that they actually never said, or at least didn't say in that language. Let's take a look at that video.
We will now show you the array of AI tools and patented VFX methods we use to create a lifelike lip sync of an aerial commercial, from the original British English into French and then German.
So you've put on a freshly washed shirt, only to find smells have come back. Oh, that's a boomerang smell.
It's when smelly particles haven't been washed out properly and are reactivated by heat. Oh, yep. Boomerang smell.
We started by mapping out the likeness of the original UK actors, which would later be used to output their photorealistic deepfake features. We then cast 2 French actors with likeness matching their UK counterparts and recorded a plethora of what we call training footage to train our AI models for each. Then the voice cloning requires ample amounts of editing, sorting, and cleaning up before we can train our AI voice models to match the original actors' voices.
Faites place à une odeur de propreté qui dure.
C'est lorsque les particules malodorantes n'ont pas été correctement lavées.
With all that prep work and computing from our AI models, our lip syncs output are flawless right as they come out and ready for broadcast. Finally, we were asked to tweak the final smile of the actress, as the client was not fully satisfied with the original performance. So we used our patented shape control method to create a multitude of incremental changes in the intensity of the smile, adjusting.
I gotta say, you're crazy if you think that there's never been a politician that's done this. You're crazy. Not even American, just worldwide. If you think this has never happened with a politician, you are out of your mind. You are nuts. And that's the one question me and my friend always have, is how long have they been able to do this? Because we always get the consumer version. That's what we get. When anything comes out, when anything comes out, whether it be a phone or any tech, we get the consumer version. We get the version that's, nice and walled in, that's nice and controlled. That's the version we get. But the version that they get, right, in other spaces, quote unquote, is way better and comes around way faster. Somebody said, 10 years behind. That's what I would think. How many times did people think it was crazy when people were like, I don't know about that thing that Biden just did. I don't know. It seems like, I don't know. Seems fake. How many times? It's not that crazy. And it wasn't crazy back when people were saying it. If you have a politician and they're just sitting there not moving, it's like there is a good chance. Why wouldn't they? They'd be like, I'm busy. I'm doing this thing. There's this retooling prayer I have to go and do, and I'm going to be covered in baby oil, so I have no time to do this speech. Can you just have the guy sit there and just do it? We just need someone that's my size to just sit there. Can we get that done, please? Perfect. Perfect. You got him? All right, let's go. I mean, just saying. That's what I think. I'm going to show you some. I'll play this a little more. I'm going to pull up the one that I did. I did one that's very basic, very quick.
The opening of the eyes, the pull of the zygomatics, and the moisture of the lips until the clients settle on their preferred performance. Whether in French, German, or any other language, this is how we create cinema-grade lip syncs.
I'll ask the question. I'll be the bad guy. What's Turning Point doing meeting with this company at all? Gosh, I don't know if it was too long ago. Maybe I'm getting old. But Turning Point USA used to be an organization that hit the ground at college campuses to spread conservative principles like free markets, capitalism. What use do they have with Hollywood voice cloning in particular? Just seems a little strange to me. And wouldn't you have less of a use for that after Charlie died? Almost less of a use. Maybe you were like, we can put Charlie in a bunch of different places, and like, wouldn't you have less of a use for that after Charlie died? Like, wouldn't you maybe just like kick that can down the road if you were going to have a meeting like that? No. Well, I'd like to know. Like, did they work with them? Did they do anything with this company? Was it just a meeting? I mean, Andrew Colbert did say they met with people that said they could do all these deepfakes of Charlie, and they declined. Did they decline them all? Did they give them an example of one they could do? And Erika says she watched the video of Charlie saying that he chose her, and the donor said that didn't happen. Is it plausible that they showed her a deep fake? Did she know it was deep fake? Why would the donors, again, what is the upside of wealthy donors who went to Aspen to support Charlie saying that this definitively did not happen and that that moment is AI? Also, why wouldn't Turning Point use that moment on video to announce Erika Kirk? You know, none of that makes any sense to me. And
I think she's right in the sense of, because before I was saying, oh, it's stitched together, but it could easily be that company, which they technically do stitch things together. They, especially with someone like Charlie, so much footage of him speaking, you know, someone like Joe Rogan, you can always find ads or even shorts of Joe Rogan talking about something. And it's not actually him talking, but the people can't get the lips quite right. So they just use his audio. So I think it's kind of stitched together, but they're taking every single thing he's ever said and they're just making whatever sentence. That could be what's going on there, what we're hearing, because we are hearing something that is giving us, you know, the uncanny valley thing is usually, you know, you see something that looks human, but not quite right, you know, and it freaks us out. I think there's something like that. I don't know if it's called the same thing. There's something like that in your audio senses as well. You'll hear something, especially nowadays, technology, we're in a new phase of technology. You hear something is not quite right. It's like, is that actually a person? We're kind of all going through that when we hear this recording. Oh, let's play the one that I have here. I'm pretty sure this is it. Let me see. Let me make sure. Is this the one? Let me switch over here. I did one really quick. And I did it a while ago because I actually wanted to translate my podcast to Spanish for all the Spanish people out there.
Meternos en el podcast Vendido no se vende. Tenemos a Joe Rogan hablando sobre la reducción de 200,000 ganados. Eso es algo que se propone que ocurra. Irlanda, y todos hemos oído hablar de eso. He hecho un par de videos sobre eso por alguna razón en este episodio, en este clip que estoy a punto de mostrarles. Jamie menciona cómo posiblemente no sea una historia real. Y simplemente tuve que entrar en modo verificación de hechos en toda esta situación. Así que eso es lo que vas a ver. Además, James Lindsay toca algo llamado cero neto para el año 2050. Voy a mostrarte algunas cosas sobre eso. Así que vamos a hablar de dónde vino realmente la historia del sacrificio de 200,000 vacas. Más trabajo. Así que vamos a hablar de ello desde la perspectiva de un youtuber. Luego vamos a profundizar un poco más y obtener el aspecto de la...
El Cocho.
Vamos a meternos en el podcast Vendido No Se Vende.
Now, that was me, because if you look at the lips, they're not quite hitting, you know, the way that I would want if I was to do something like this. But that was one try. No tweaking the lips, no nothing. It was just, let me see what I sound like. Let's see if it can actually clone the voice. That's all I cared about when I was trying to do this. I was like, let's see if it actually cloned the voice. And it did. It sounded like me speaking another language, you know? Now, if I actually took the time to sit back and say, okay, let's get the lips right, let's get the movement right, input more of myself into it so it can really see how I talk, I could have got something pretty solid that you probably couldn't tell the difference. Not saying that's what they did, but I'm saying that was possible. That's what I did for free. I didn't pay anything to do that. That's 11 labs. Pretty sure it's 11 labs. Pretty sure. So that's 11 labs. And that was a while ago. They've improved since then. So, you know, we just have to think about what's actually possible, right? Another example of what is possible. I mean, this one right here is wild. You know, the Morgan Freeman is fake and the white guy at the bottom is real.
I am not Morgan Freeman, and what you see is not real. Well, at least in contemporary terms, it is not. What if I were to tell you that I am not even a human being? Would you believe me? What is your perception of reality? Is it the ability to capture, process, and make sense of the information our senses receive? If you can see, hear, taste, or smell something, does that make it real? Or is it simply the ability to feel? I would like to welcome you to the era of synthetic reality. Now, what do you see?
So that's how they did that with Morgan Freeman. And they get way better. This wasn't even a good one. It was just a very notable person. So I used Morgan Freeman, but they get way better. Way better. I've seen a bunch of examples where it's actually a dude, Coach Carlos. I've seen an example of a guy, and it's the same thing. It's like a split screen, and it's a guy, and then it's a lady, right? You know, a very how do I describe it? I don't know, like a smoke show type lady, but it's a dude. The dude just takes this avatar of a lady and he's moving around. He's going, he's going like this. He's moving around. He's doing all the things. He's doing everything. And then you look on the other side and it's this lady doing it. And that's the point that we're at. And again, this is a person who's not an AI engineer. He's not a technician. He's just a guy. He's just a guy in his house. That's it. You know? I could really use one of those AI avatars right now. Just go to sleep, you know? Really in my chair like this, just like this. And there's just some AI guy just, what's going on, guys? So it's like, it's getting to a weird point where you don't need to be a massive company like Turning Point to pull something like that off. Now, maybe for them, when it comes to the video, imagine if Turning Point did release a video. The video wouldn't make any sense because, first off, if it was just a speech, people would be like, "I've never seen that speech before." If it was them saying it was in the Hamptons, people at the Hamptons would be like, "That didn't happen. That never took place." You would also have to then, Erika wasn't there apparently, but whoever was around, you'd have to also present them in AI. AI always has little glitches. The internet will just take it and zoom in on it and zoom in on this and zoom in on that and analyze this and analyze that. And it would be found to be fugazi right away. Audio is a little harder because you put together a little montage. It's a nice little thing. It's like what? Charlie talking for like 20 seconds. People aren't going to really question that as much. And there's nothing to really zoom in on. All you can do is just kind of listen and go, I don't know. Again, not saying they did that, but kind of makes sense. Yeah. Candace right again. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I'm looking at it completely different. I want to know what company it was. I can't find the website for the company. It just says VFX AI cloning. And did Turning Point decide to work with this company? I don't know. VFX works. Bring me the website. Is this the website? Nope. Is this? It gets very interesting how well they do this stuff. And it's like, I don't know. You don't know what you're looking at nowadays. You don't know who's running what nowadays. You could think you're talking to a lady. There has been, and I'm not even making this up, there was a lady who sent all of her money to Brad Pitt because Brad Pitt was in the hospital and needed money because he was in the hospital, and he would pay her back right away because he's Brad Pitt. He just didn't have access to his funds. And this lady did it. I mean, it's getting spooky out there. It's getting to the point now, if you don't have one with your kids, you guys need to have a code word, because people have already experienced somebody picks up the phone and they think their daughter is on the other line. Their daughter's screaming, help, they have me and they want this much money. And I need you to do this. Please, mom, I'm scared. And people who don't know, they're like, what the hell? So they send the money, not realizing that their daughter's completely fine. Oh, there's a lot to it, man. There's a lot to it. Nah. Oh, this is the website. Is it? I don't know. This is a website's giving me a weird vibe. I'm not clicking on it. I'm weird about websites. Let me see. What's this? Oh, this is the website. I found it. Oh, I have found it. Okay, cool. So they do all sorts of things. I mean, think about this. Like, they're showing Jennifer Lopez. Do you think celebrities aren't doing this? Of course they are. Of course they are. Bruce Willis did a whole movie. He has dementia. Sadly. He has dementia right now, and he's doing this whole thing. So this is the part that Candace actually played for all of us. The lip sync. Very weird stuff. Very weird stuff. All possible. Again, we'll never know if Turning Point did anything like this. They'll never tell anybody, and they'll never let it loose, because it, like Candace said, it would reveal something shocking about Erika. It would make everybody go, oh, this person's nuts. This person knew that there was some kind of fugazi recording, and they said, yeah, play it. And I'll walk out to it and I'll act like I'm crying. Yeah. And I'll have on the leather pants. What do you mean leather? What do you mean I shouldn't wear leather pants? I look great in my leather pants. You guys have a problem with the leather pants? No, I'm wearing leather pants. I have to. Anyway. No, don't worry. Anyway, let's jump over here. And then it's just another example for me.
How far are we from a time period when an AI-generated deepfake could start a war?
Very, very, very close. Look, it's not only to start a war, but how about just to derail a presidential campaign? If we had this technology during the Russia hoax, do you think that the rumors of and I hate to bring up this visual, but the Trump quote unquote P-tape could have actually shown up as a deep fake video, and that could have derailed President Trump's.
So the only reason I play this, I didn't even know that they were talking about AI. I had no idea. I just wanted to find a talking head video, and it's like this could easily be AI. Easily, they're not moving. This guy's background is fake. This guy's not even at a real background right now. Matt Gaetz here doesn't even have a real background. This could easily be done. I don't know, guys. I don't know. I've voiced my opinion so many times on AI. I don't like where it's going. I talked about it with Sabby. I don't like the fact that Sam Altman's just like, people are creative. They'll figure it out. When he was talking about people losing their jobs by the millions. It's just wild. Anyway, let's move on. And, you know, that's for you to decide. What do you think about the whole AI thing? Do you think they would actually do that type of cloning? Do you think that they would actually go through with that type of thing? I think there was a point when all this was happening where they thought doing something like that is very innocent because they need Erika to be accepted. And having Charlie say something like this, when they're maintaining that this is how he actually felt, feels kind of like innocent. It doesn't feel too malicious. It feels just like, you know, yeah, we'll just have a clip of Charlie saying that. It's a nice way to intro her. Maybe they're not even, maybe they're just thinking it's just a cool intro. She walks in and Charlie's saying this, and Charlie felt that way, right, Blake? Yeah, Charlie felt that way, right? Right, Tyler? Yeah. I don't know, man. I don't know. But to act like it's impossible, you know, the Garys and the Grahams and all of these people, all the naysayers, to act like this is impossible to be done, you're just not living in 2026. Not at all. There are literally kids in their rooms doing deepfakes, doing them well, real well. So anyway, let's move on, ladies and gentlemen. Candace Owens talking a little bit more about Gary. Now, the only reason I pull this up, I don't even think I'm going to play the clip, but when she's talking about Gary, and Gary's just catching strays. I mean, well-deserved strays, but man, is Gary just catching some strays, you know? I don't know. Yeah, somebody said lies, no matter the intent. Yeah, it's true. It's true. You're right. You know, I'm trying to just, you know, I'm trying to be nice because Blake's such a friend of the show. He's such a great guy. You know what I mean? Like, how do you hate on a guy like this? How do you hate on that guy? I can't do it. He looks so sweet. Has a nice dashiki on. Anyway, but when she talks about Gary and Gary doing this whole thing where he reveals that this is not Erika's kid, what the hell is Gary doing? I'm telling you, man, I've watched Gary for a long time. Since he started getting on X, I've been watching him the whole time. I've interacted with him at the beginning. We've had our back and forth. We've had arguments. He's gotten pretty vile with me. You know, he's trying to check my arrest records, which let me know what you find, big guy. But he gets swept up. I don't know if it's a financial thing, some kind of financial incentive, but he gets swept up to where it almost feels like he has to post. And I don't know if that's a payment thing from X or if there's some other kind of financial incentive or if it's just him just being like, you know, he's just worked up, because that does happen to people. People get caught up in X and say crazy things. I bet you can find me saying some crazy things. You know, I've called people R words and stuff like that many times. Gary who? Someone doesn't know who Gary is. Gary, Paramount Tactical. You might know him. He is a man who is a descendant of a Kandahar giant. There aren't many of these men living amongst us in just general population in society. He's one of the few, and he's learned English and he's learned our ways, and he's doing quite well for himself, being descendant of a Kandahar giant. And honestly, for being a descendant of a Kandahar giant, he actually is very well tempered, I have to say. That's why he has the long head. Exactly. That's what I've heard. Okay. It's something that's being said. It's out in the zeitgeist of things. I don't know who started saying it, but that's just what I've heard. That's who Gary is, in case you're wondering. But I didn't realize that Gary did this. I usually stay up to date with Gary talking about stuff and Candace. I didn't know he said this. This is largely dumb. This is a largely dumb thing to do.
And Paramount, Gary finally responds and says, it's not her son. It's her daughter with another child. Look, mystery solved. Okay, don't gaslight us. You were the people who introduced this. Even if it were her actual children, it would not have been a sufficient answer. It would not have satisfied interest as to whether she was with her kids. Anybody can take a photo of your children and send it to you. Secondly, you presented this as concrete proof, case closed, that Erika was with her children. Andrew says, here she is with the kids. Now, suddenly, the internet has not let go of the fact that they don't think these are Erika's kids, and you're now finally copying and saying, okay, well, maybe we went too big on the kid, too big on the son. It's not her son, we admit. So it's not proof of the kids, full stop, and it's not proof that Erika is with her kids. Again, why? Why are we doing this? Why are they being so weird? Why are they constantly adjusting, telling lies, gaslighting, being consistent, working behind the scenes to get out something that I was happy to just go ahead and debunk? Because like I said, I was like, 40, 60. Maybe you saw her, maybe you didn't. Even if you did see her, doesn't mean Erika was doing anything weird. Like that she lives in Arizona. She has a family that's involved militarily. That's not weird. It would not be weird unless you make it weird, unless you start telling lies. That is what makes people not trust the Turning Point USA apparatus. It's always this, a slight pivot. You told us this. Now we're going to pivot and give you a different story and then basically say to you, how dare you recognize the first story that we told you was not accurate in its entirety. Just true to Turning Point. This is just their formula that is failing upon the public, I might add. Switching gears, yesterday we were telling you that.
So I did not know that Gary did this. Like I said, kind of bad. I mean, listen, he didn't take any payment from Andrew, right? I'm not saying that, but he was working with Andrew. I don't know in what respect. I don't know if people work like that with each other for free. Maybe they do. I don't know. I have no idea. But he really just messed things up because that was the alibi. And that was an alibi that they were standing by, and they went silent on it. Andrew went silent about it. Erika went silent. All of Turning Point put that out there. Gary messed it up, but the picture was out there regardless. Those are her kids. She covered the face because those are her kids. Story done. Like, it done. And then Gary dug it back up. He dug it back up to the point where Candace is now talking about it again. I mean, I laughed when Barron said that Gary is the hardest working person on this event. Laughed. I said, oh gosh, come on, Barron. But gosh darn it, if this Kandahar giant descendant isn't just racking up the points, I mean, he should just be on Barron's show. It seems like Gary could replace Daisy at any moment. Gary could if Daisy wants to take a day off, Gary could just jump in there real quick and help Barron out. I don't know. Why not? He's working hard. He deserves a little bit of recognition. You understand? He's a Kandahar giant. It's a surprise that he's even doing this well in life. He could go back up into the mountains and just smash a cave open and live there. It's what his people are used to. But instead, he's here doing the hard-nosed journalism that the rest of us can only wish we do. In the likes of Nick Shirley and whatnot. Anyway. Gary is AI. Case closed. He could be. Maybe that's why his head got longer. I swear Gary used to have a head like this. He had a nice compact head. And also I saw one video and his head was like this. And I was like, what happened to his head? What happened to his head? I don't understand. I don't know. Weird stuff, man. But anyway, that is the rest of the Candace breakdown. Just wanted to bring that to you guys. Fun time with Candace as always. Can't wait to see what she covers today. What day is it? That's how sick I am. I don't even know what day it is. It's Wednesday. So yeah, she's gonna do another one, and then another one. I don't know what she's gonna cover. She's kind of pivoting. It seems like, what it seems like, because I noticed this pattern with Candace. It seems like she goes really hard and direct with things. And then there are other episodes where you're like, why is she talking about this? Why is she bringing this up? How is this relevant? I didn't realize we were going in this direction. And it seems like those are kind of the setup episodes. Like she's setting something up. So she's like, don't worry, guys. I'm just laying a bear trap here and a Blake trap here and a Gary trap here and a Harpool trap here. Don't worry, guys. We're just going to lay this out really quick on a Tuesday. Don't worry. We'll come back to this later. That's what it seems like. It seems like she's going to come with something. So it feels like that's what this week has been. Just laying out the traps. And then all of a sudden, when she gets the responses, hopefully she does it. Setting out the puzzle pieces. Yeah, that's what it seems like. It's weird. It's really weird. I don't know. We'll see. I shouldn't even say it's weird. It's actually masterful. I talked about this with Lionel. I was like, she's masterful. What about the Valhalla trap? I don't think there is a trap there. I'm pretty sure Valhalla's not going to say anything. I mean, she's basically saying the same thing she said before. I covered it. I don't know if you guys saw it. She went live on X months ago, and it was the whole Mitch Snow thing, and she addressed that, and she's basically just bringing it up again in regards to Valhalla. She's not saying anything new about Valhalla. She's just bringing him up as like one of the military bros. It's not like he's not going to say anything about this. I doubt it. I doubt he's going to address any of it because, again, he's already done that. He's already gone through that whole thing. So I think it's more laying it out for Gary because Gary can't stop. Valhalla at least has a brain. He's just like, okay, like I actually, unlike Gary, he's like, I actually have a following and it's actually growing exponentially. I'm probably just going to focus here. Gary's like, I got nothing to lose. He's a giant, they're a little more belligerent than most people, and he's just like, I got nothing to lose. What's going on here? What did she say? She's a liar. Where's that barren simp? Coach Colin. You know what Gary called me? Do you know what he called me? He said, first off, shout out to Gary. He said, you're nothing but a 24-year-old real estate coach. And I was like, man, he thinks I'm 24. So I love him. You know what I mean? I love him. But why does he think I'm a real estate coach? What does he think this show is about? I don't know. It was a weird, maybe Gary is AI. I don't know. Because it was the weirdest thing I ever heard from a person. He's like, what a bro, 24 years old. Yeah, I was like, bro. I was like, thank you. My wife got me the new face cream. I was really happy about it. I put it on under the eyes. I always try to get under the eyes. Meanwhile, you guys are telling me I look tired and this and that. Gary's like, you look like a 24-year-old real estate coach. I was like, damn, this Gary. I love this guy. But I was also like, what's wrong with your brain? How'd you come to that conclusion? Anyway. Gary, friend of the show. Come on anytime, Gary. I would love to have you on. We could talk about all sorts of things. I would have Gary on. You know what I would do? I would have Gary on and make him only talk about firearms. That's it. He'd be like, and the thing about, you want to address what Candace said? I'd be like, no, man. Can you tell me about 30-06s? How that works? What's a 22? I'd just be asking this just like ridiculous question. What's a 22? Have you ever seen someone hit with a 22? What does that look like? I would just start asking. I'd just get real inquisitive about that. And he'd just be like, what the fuck? Andrew said I had to bring up Candace. Can we talk about Candace? Gary, you're not supposed to say that. Oh, sorry, Andrew. I know you're watching. I'm sorry about that, buddy. I'm just trying to run this podcast and everything. Oh, my God. All right. Enough with Gary. Friend of the show, of course. Anyway, we have the president here. He has something to say for all you guys out there. He has something to let you guys know about, which I think is good. I think this is a step in the right direction, honestly. Let's play this.
When you're negotiating with Iran, Mr. President, to what extent are Americans' financial situations motivating you to make a deal?
Not even a little bit. The only thing that matters when I'm talking about Iran, they can't have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about Americans' financial situation. I don't think about anybody. I think about one thing. We cannot let Iran have a nuclear weapon. That's all. That's the only thing that motivates.
If you didn't catch that, the people are asking him, do you think about the financial situation of Americans when you're going into this whole, dealing with Iran? Do you think about that at all? And he said, no, not even one bit. The only thing I think about is Iran cannot have a nuclear weapon. I don't think about financial situations. He said, I don't think about anything other than that. So I think that's great. Good for him. Because here's the thing. He could have easily said, listen, the only thing I care about is Philadelphia and BB and doing exactly what BB needs me to do. He could have said that, and that would have been absolutely terrible. At least he's just like, listen, because it would be worse if your financial situation as an American is going through very hard times and it's getting worse because it costs 30% more to fill up your tank. And he said, I do think about that. And I did that to them on purpose. Well, that would be like, holy jeez. But at least he's just not thinking about it, right? You guys gotta see the silver lining, okay? You gotta see the silver lining. He's just not thinking about it. It's cool. Don't worry. He's just not concerned with you. That's better than he's doing it maliciously to you. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's a little better. It's a little better, man. I mean, I'm just saying. You don't want someone doing things to you on purpose. If they're just not thinking about you, it's like, there's still a chance that he might think about you and then do something for you. It's just right now he's not thinking about you at all. I think that's good. I think that's good. You guys with me or what? People are saving up hot dog water. They're like, I got to drink hot dog water because all these data centers are popping up and gasoline costs more. And I looked into it and you can't drink gasoline. You can't. It tastes terrible. I really don't know what to do anymore. $4.69 a gallon in Pittsburgh. I mean, yeah, that's kind of bad. It gets worse. Still, look, $6.50 in Cali. There you go. $6.50. Do I have 7? Do I have 7? Is there anybody in the chat that has 7? $7 a gallon. Can we get $7 a gallon here? Sold. $6.50 a gallon in California. Sold. You get a pint of hot dog water to drink because the data centers are taking all your water. No problem. Here you go. But yeah, I mean, it's getting up there. It's getting up there. I forget which place it was that they showed, but they were showing, and this was like 3 weeks ago, so it could have changed, but they were showing $8. They had $8 a gallon. I forget where it was, but what can you do? And that's fine. $7 in the Bay in California. Listen, we have $7.19. $7.19. Do I hear 7? Do I hear $7.60? We have $7.50. Do I hear $8? Do I hear $8? Do I hear $8? It's crazy. It's crazy. And it's just like, I don't know, maybe it'll go down. Listen. He could be playing. Listen, don't get mad when I say this. This could be 5D chess. It could be 5D chess. What? 5D chess doesn't stop. It keeps going. This could be 5D chess, guys. And he's just getting it real up there just so you and then when it gets real down, when it gets to like $1, you'll be like, oh, yay. And you'll be so much happier. You'll be so much more appreciative. Oh, man. Short-term pain for long-term gain. Exactly. It's 5D chess. Cali's almost at $8. Cali's the best because you pay almost $8 for the gallon. And then if you don't fill up fast enough, someone will come behind you and choke you out and steal your card. So it's actually good that it costs so much because then it's like you don't really have that much money to fill up on gas. So you only have like 20 seconds worth of gas. Bang, bang, bang. And then you get back in your car. And then the guy who's going to roll up behind you and choke you out, he doesn't have time. He's like, oh, he's already gone. Got to see the silver linings, guys. You got to see the silver linings in life, guys. Okay. Right. The president is saving lives in California with the gas being this high. And everybody knows it. Don't deny it. Are you going to be some kind of libtard and deny it? Huh? So funny. So funny. But, I only say that because that's what happened to Eddie Bravo. I saw someone mention Eddie Bravo in the chat. That's what happened to Eddie Bravo. Eddie Bravo was filling up gas. Eddie Bravo, a jiu-jitsu genius, an absolute weapon of a fighter. He was filling up gas, and then one guy tried to come, and another guy, it was like nighttime. It's like so scary. It's so scary in California. If you're just driving, you're like, oh, I have to fill up gas, and it's like midnight. Oh, it's so scary. And then he just rolls up, and he tries to fill up his gas, and then all of a sudden one guy pops up, and another guy pops up, and there's a guy behind him. They would have killed him. They would have killed one of Joe Rogan's best friends just over gas. Anyway, $10 in Alaska. I don't know, man. I don't know why people are living in Alaska. $2 a liter in Canada. I kind of feel like maybe I'm blending things here. I think I saw someone in Oklahoma talking about $8 a gallon, but I think I also saw someone in Canada and they showed $1.89 a liter at one point. But I don't know if I'm like confusing those stories, switching them up. I don't know. But yeah, it's getting up there. It's getting up there. Someone says, put Eddie Bravo on the show. Eddie Bravo has been on the show, sir. I was actually on his show and he allowed me to upload that onto this channel. So if you look for it, there is an Eddie Bravo interview and it's about 2.5 hours. There is an uncensored version on Rumble because there's a big chunk of it where we lost our video. So I didn't want to put that into mine. So I cut that part out. Plus there's some stuff that we talk about. Not going to get into it. We talk about some wild stuff in terms of what we're anti. And that's all on Spotify. I think that's on my Spotify. I know that's on his Rumble channel. You can look into it. That's what the podcast is called, actually. Look into it. So you can find that. Someone said they're going to buy a horse. See, you guys get it. You guys understand. It's all about the silver linings. Now you get to have a horse, right? Now you get to have a horse. How lucky are you? Am I wrong? Anyway. Someone's like, you have no idea what it's like to live in California. Yeah, I don't. I can say I've never been stabbed. Never been stabbed, not even once. Let me tell you something. This is what I do know. Okay? About living in California. I know that there are massive celebrities who have highly secure houses. And there's B&Es happening in the houses. I know this as well. You can look up this story. I know that there was a lady who was bussing in thieves to steal from stores, and they would steal from the stores. You know, when they were taking racks of clothing? Well, that would go to one person, not all the time, but it would go to this one lady, and she would resell all the things. She got arrested. She was bussing people in. There have been busloads of homeless people going to California, and this is actually a documentary you can find. I forget who did it. I don't think it was Cash Jordan. I think it was someone else. They're bussing in people who are homeless because the homeless people know it's a great place to be because they can defecate on the ground and they can steal whatever they want. I know that much. Yeah, but you don't know about the good parts, though. I'm not saying there's not good parts. There's good parts living everywhere, obviously, especially if you're from there and you love the place. I get it. But don't talk to me like as if it's sunshine. Don't talk to me as if it's just all good. Don't do that. We all see the news. We all watch what's going on. We know that it's wild out there. Are you kidding me right now? Only time the streets get cleaned up is when the Emperor of China is coming to see Gavin Newsom. That's the only time it gets cleaned up. And they clean it up well. And then they make sure it goes right back to being a mess after the Chinese president leaves. Xi Jinping is his name. You don't know what it's like. It's not fun. It's not fun. That I know. And if you're rich enough, and you're able to claw through everything and buy a house that's nice and big, they're like, hey, we have another tax because you're so rich and you have a big house. It's called an estate tax. Here you go, big guy. Then they also tried You thought I didn't know anything, right? Then they also tried that when a bunch of people moved to Florida by the thousands, Florida and Texas, they were like, well, you know what? You don't live here anymore, but we still think you should pay the taxes that you would pay if you did live here. Fantastic. 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 Anyway, and you know, California, friend of the show. Everybody knows that. Just saying. Anyway, we're talking about the president here. He's not thinking about people's financial situations. Not the thing he should have said, you know. Not the thing he should have said, but you know, he's gonna say things. That's the way that goes. Also, we'll just play this really quick before we get into the panel. This is just an odd thing that happened, and it's real.
Fox News alert, a California Democrat just admitted to being a Chinese spy. Christina Coleman has the latest. Christina.
Hi, Jesse. California Democrat Eileen Wang resigned as mayor of Arcadia as part of her plea deal. She's now charged with acting as an illegal agent of the People's Republic of China. Prosecutors say between 2020 and 2022, 4 years before she was sworn in as mayor, she worked at the direction and control of Chinese government officials.
They feel like that there is an open door invitation in these sanctuary cities. It's not just China. This is North Korea. This is Russia. This is our adversaries all over the place that's using the political theater that the Democrats have drawn as a point of weakness to be able to infiltrate our communities.
Federal authorities say Wang operated a phony website claiming it was a news source for the local Chinese American community. Instead, she's accused of using it to promote and push pro-Chinese content.
It's not a crime to just publish pro-Chinese pieces. What makes it a crime is that she was working at the direction of the PRC. So this wasn't her on her own writing these things. She was directed and instructed. She had a handler by the PRC that would tell her what to do.
A local news reporter caught up with this California Democrat to see if she had anything to say about secretly working with China's communist government, but she stayed silent.
Can we speak with you about these allegations?
Yep, had nothing to say there. Also, federal authorities say Wang's former fiance was her accomplice. He's currently serving a 4-year federal prison sentence after pleading guilty last October to acting as an illegal agent of a foreign government. So both of them in big trouble, Jesse.
Match made in heaven. Thank you, Christina.
Man, that is very weird.
Fox News alert.
Very weird. Very, very weird. You know, I love comments like this. These are the best comments. Oh, but of course, crickets on the infiltration of America by Israel assets and spies. Are you sure? Have you never heard of Ian Carroll? Have you never heard of Candace Owens? We talk about her quite a bit on the channel. I don't know if you ever heard. I don't know if you ever heard of Tucker Carlson before. I don't know if you ever heard of these guys, but they tend to talk about it quite a bit. You can actually find out quite a bit. You know, you clearly don't have X. I'm just saying. There's some people who feel the way that person just commented. You clearly don't have X. I'm telling you, get you an account and those crickets will be gone. Jump on X. We're all talking about it over there. I'm just saying. Easily you're going to talk about that. I didn't even know X gets very real. It gets too real, in fact. I didn't even realize this is California. I didn't even realize that. I was just in that whole rant about California, and I'm like, let's move on to another state, and it's just California again. I had no idea. I had no clue. I had no clue at all. Sorry. My apologies, ladies and gentlemen, you know. And believe you me, everybody's like, oh, every state has their issues. Of course. But the one state I would live in for my entire life, if I could, if it wasn't the way it was, would be California. Oh, there's nothing better. There's nothing better than perfect weather all the time. Are you kidding me? Perfect weather all the time. No real winter forever. Get out of here. It's the best thing. That's what most people are clinging to. They're like, I would leave, but there's winter in other places. And I just can't abide by winter, you know? I would love to live in California. Somebody's like, we welcome you. Yeah, I would love it. I would love it. You know, the wife's like, I don't know about California. I'm like, honey, don't worry. Don't worry. We'll live in boxes. We'll live in boxes. It's fine. The encampments, we'll get some of those nice spiffy chaps who defecate on the sidewalks to teach us how to build an encampment. And we'll build a massive encampment. You know? Oh, man. Anyway, so there's that mayor doing that. And, you know, you got to take the good with the bad, you know? They didn't talk about any policies that she was putting through. She could have been putting through some great policies. What if you guys found out that this lady was a spy? Okay, like you found out, but she was laying down some great policies. Like she was really holding it down. You know what I mean? She was like Ron DeSantis inside California. She was like, I'm going to get rid of property tax and I'm going to do that. You know what I mean? Would you still want her out of there? Or would you be like, I don't know. How much does she actually spy? Does she spy a lot? Or does she's just kind of spy, like here and there? She has a handler. Any violence? No violence? I don't know. Someone said she was laying it down. She was laying down the good policies. I don't know. Can you imagine? People start protesting to keep her? They might. Listen, you're just gonna accept Randy Fine? Randy Fine's all good. You know, Ted Cruz is all good, but this lady has to go. They're basically spies too, right? Allegedly, maybe, perhaps. I'm kidding. They're not spies, you know. They just seem bought and paid for. They might be. I don't know. Seems like it. That's what I hear. Okay. That's what I hear through the grapevine. I'm kidding. They're good guys. They're all Americans. Those two gentlemen are America first. Everybody knows it. So let her cook. People protesting outside with signs. Let her cook. Let her cook. You know, that would be funny. That'd be really funny, actually. She's the only one doing any good. Please, let us keep her. Anyway, let's keep going, guys. We're going to move on to the panel. This is something I want to talk about for a while. I'm going to end it on this. This is the last thing we're going to talk about. Oh, that's the Buy Me a Coffee. buymeacoffee.com/Coach Colin. But let's talk about the panel. Can I zoom this in a little bit? We're already zoomed in like crazy or what? Now, there is a panel, and it is called the President's Council of Advisors on Science and Technology. Okay. It's PCAST, reestablished in January 2025 via an executive order 14177. It's comprised of primary technology leaders and billionaires, with only one academic member among the first 13 appointees. Apparently, there's supposed to be another 11 appointees at some point. The panel is co-chaired by Michael Kratios, the director of the Office of Science, Technology, Policy, and Dave Sachs, one of the president's AI and crypto advisors. Now, I like Dave Sachs, I will say. Now, they showed me these names at first, and I said, you know what? I know those aren't all the names, so I need you to show me all the names, right? That's what I said. So they show me all the names. It's just showing me Mark Zuckerberg, Larry Ellison, Sergey Brie, Jinsing Hung. I said, no, I need the names of all 13 members. Okay. So now here's the name of all 13 members. Now we're going to get into what this panel actually does as we go on. And I am going to cover these people one by one. The initial, because this is something that people should know about. You should really know about this. Yuval. That is a name that I have to remember. I'm going to leave that right there. Because everything that Yuval said years ago at Davos is all making sense now. When he said it before, it didn't make any sense. Now that all these things are being put together, executive order and panels and this and that, everything he said is starting to, in the data centers, the ballroom, now it's all starting to make sense. That is actually, I'm going to write that down. That's an episode that I have to do. I have to go back and listen to some things that he said. Now, the 13 initial members of the president's reestablished President's Council of Advisors for Science and Technology, PCAST, was announced March 2026. It's announced very quietly. They didn't do a big video about this like they usually do. Mark Andreessen's been on Joe Rogan's podcast a couple of times. Interesting guy, has some interesting points, willing to call things out, but very heavily invested in AI and data centers and all of that stuff. Heavily invested in those things working out. Big believer in those things. Co-founder and general partner at Andreessen and Horowitz, or Andreessen Horowitz. That's number one. Sergey Brin, co-founder of Google and Alphabet Inc. Rafa Katz, executive vice chair of Oracle. Michael Dell, founder and CEO of Dell Technologies. Jacob DeWitt, founder and CEO of Oakleo. Fred Ursem, co-founder of Coinbase and Paradigm. Larry Ellison, co-founder, executive chair, and CTO of Oracle, as well as buying CBS with his son, as well as buying TikTok with some other people, as well as helping Elon Musk buy X. David Friedberg, angel investor and CEO at Ohalo Genetics. I didn't realize that was a genetics company. Wow. Jensen Huang, founder, president, and CEO of NVIDIA. Big AI player there. John M. Martinez. I'm just going to say Martinez. I don't want anybody to ruin that for me. Quantum physicist and professor at the University of California, Santa Barbara. So that's the one academic that they were talking about. Then we have Bob Mungard, co-founder and CEO of Commonwealth Fusion Systems. Then we have Lisa Su, president and CEO of AMD. And then, lastly, but not least, we have Mark Zuckerberg, co-founder, CEO, and chair of Meta Platforms. If you don't know Meta, that's Facebook, that's WhatsApp, that's Instagram, that is Oculus, and some other things that they have going on. I forget what they call their someone said, am I reading the JE list? I don't know. But the council is co-chaired by Michael. I already said this name. So co-chaired by him and Dave Sachs. Okay. So eventually it may be up to 24 members. So now I wanted to dig a little deeper. I said, what's the purpose of this panel? The purpose of the panel, okay, this is what it does. It advises the president on strengthening American leadership in science and technology. Now that sounds very good, but what they're really focused on is AI and possibly genetics. Provide evidence-based policy recommendations on critical and emerging technologies. Recommendations. Okay, so it's just recommendations. They can't actually write policy, but they can recommend what should be happening. And when they recommend things, perhaps, maybe, the companies that they run, as I've shown you here, might benefit from these recommendations. A focus on artificial intelligence, quantum computing, advanced energy, including nuclear and fusion, and semiconductor development. That's NVIDIA. They're big into that. Address the economic and workforce impacts of emerging technologies, ensuring Americans thrive in the golden age of innovation. How is that possible? If they get what they're working towards, how could Americans possibly thrive? Remove bureaucratic barriers, red tape, to accelerate innovation and technological advancement. Again, that's just red tape, meaning that they can run the AI race as fast as they need to. Ensure national security by maintaining unquestioned and unchallenged global technological dominance. This is wild that this is even said. This is like the loud part. This is the quiet part said out loud. Unquestioned and unchallenged global dominance. Okay. So I went a little deeper. Okay. And I said, how much does this panel have how much say does this panel have in regards to AI? Now, They said the science and technology panel, I'll just call it the panel from now on, has significant influence, but no direct policy-making authority on AI. Its role is advisory. It studies issues, produces reports, makes formal recommendations, and administration officials, recommendations to the president and administrative officials. Now, however, its actual influence on AI policy, right? Let me just pull down here. Get that thing out of there. There you go. High level access, co-chaired by David Sachs, who previously served as the president's AI and crypto czar. The council maintains a direct line to the president, of course. Composition of industry leaders. Okay, it's just going through all the leaders, giving their advice outsized weight. Giving their advice outsized weight. Strategic focus. The council is central to advising the president on American AI dominance agenda, shaping policies on compute access, regulation, and national AI infrastructure, policy alignment. The White House has signaled that this panel's recommendation will drive efforts to replace state-level AI regulations with a unified national framework. Now, you may ask, how does this happen? There has been a very wonderful, in my opinion, I think it's wonderful, a wonderful executive order signed that takes away the power from the state level to make decisions on AI and eventually data centers and things of that nature. Okay. So I wanted to go a little deeper. I said, how much money altogether did this panel pledge via their companies and otherwise to the president? I said, there's no public information indicating that the 13 members collectively pledged a sum of money directly to the president as a condition of their appointment. And I said, okay, I understand. Let me ask a different question. Okay. How much money did Oracle pledge? Okay. So we have two Oracle people on this whole thing. It was announced by Larry Ellison and Trump himself via press conference. So I have to bring up the fact that this was actually presented, and then the AI goes, okay, you got me. You got me. Okay. All right. You've studied, you've been using ChatGPT. Okay. You got me, big guy. It says Oracle under Larry Ellison pledged $100 billion to support the administration's AI infrastructure initiatives. It's funny you can't throw some of that at the ballroom, you know, which maybe they did. This commitment was announced during the Stargate AI project launch on the president's second day back in office in January. With Ellison present at the White House, the funding is intended to build new AI data centers to support AI development, including efforts like like a shot for cancer. Okay. Let's move away from that topic. But that is one of the things that they've presented. They'll have so much data on everybody that they'll be able to provide what ails you, perhaps. If perhaps you needed something, God forbid, like you have cancer, they'd be able to give you a little shot in the arm, help you out. Additionally, on March 4th, Oracle, get that thing out of here. Oracle signed the ratepayer protection pledge alongside Amazon, Google, Meta, Microsoft, OpenAI, and XAI. That's Elon Musk. Under this agreement, Oracle committed to the cover of the full cost of the new power generation and transmission infrastructure required for its AI data centers, ensuring these expenses are not passed on to the American consumers, like having to pay for like the ballroom and what's underneath the ballroom, right? So then I checked out another person. I'm like, okay, what about Meta? How much did they pledge? Right? Because I know they pledged something. Then it said, no. They did not pledge any type of money, but they did donate $1 million to the inauguration fund, right? The contribution is similar to donations that many other organizations made. While Ellison and the president announced their joint venture, Meta has no say in that, no stock in that. And I said, okay, all right. Meta checks out a little bit because Meta is having a real tough time right now with data centers getting built. They're facing a lot of red tape. which is now going to go away because the guy who runs Meta is going to put in the recommendation that there be no red tape. But anyway, how much money did OpenAI pledge? It was announced by Sam Altman and the president himself. Then it said OpenAI, alongside Oracle and SoftBank, announced a joint venture called Stargate, where they pledged how much? The initial investment is $100 billion, a potential total investment of $500 billion over 4 years, which is over their term, over his term, I should say, his second term. OpenAI holds operational responsibility for the project. The venture aims to build AI data centers across the United States of America, starting with sites in Texas. Now, if you remember, Baron Coleman made sure to show us this big map. And I remember when he was showing us this map, he was like, check out Dallas. He goes, Dallas is just all data centers. I remember that stood out to him a lot because there's a lot of them out there. So then I went a little deeper and I said, NVIDIA pledge. How much did they pledge? It was announced. I know it was announced. They said, no, NVIDIA didn't pledge anything. You know, they didn't have an investment like Oracle, $500 billion or anything like that. They didn't do that. And I said, okay, well, I don't believe you because I watched it live. So let me just say, so does the president and NVIDIA have no dealings together? And then it goes, oh, yes, they have significant dealings, actually, both through high-level policy agreements and strategic partnerships. Oh, okay. Well, first, we start off with a $500 billion U.S. manufacturing investment in April 2025. I was like, that's what I thought, because I know that I watched this. I actually watched it. Back when I was checking out everything that Trump was doing and celebrating it like a flippin' seal, doing my claps in front of the television, just like, oh, this is the greatest thing ever. This is so good. Before I realized what was going on. And then would invest, NVIDIA and its suppliers would invest $500 billion towards manufacturing of AI chips and infrastructures aligning with the president's economic agenda. Also, they are involved in the Stargate project. They are key technological partners in the $500 billion that Oracle and et cetera, Oracle, OpenAI, SoftBank are going to be giving. Revenue sharing deal with China. In August 2025, the administration struck an unprecedented deal with NVIDIA and AMD, that company again, AMD, who is also on the panel, in exchange for export licenses to sell AI chips to China. The U.S. government receives 15% of the revenue from the sales, effectively making the federal government a financial partner in NVIDIA's China business deal. Okay. Yeah, it feels really good. But the thing about it all is, and that's where I stopped, because I'm gonna do more on this. Now, it sounds really good, all of that, because that's a lot of money. And they'll also tell you that it's a lot of jobs. But the thing about it is, it's also a ton of data centers. I've already played the clip for you in terms of what those data centers can actually do. What those data centers actually are going to do to the neighborhoods that they are close to. This is also going to happen in Alberta and probably one day also going to happen in Greenland. Of course, it's happening in China, and of course, it's happening in Africa. This is not a good thing. So just putting it out there. I think who we will talk about first on another episode is Larry Ellison, because there's a lot there. But that is the panel, ladies and gentlemen. And you should know about this panel because they are going to be making decisions on not only how many jobs there are going to be for the regular people, the useless eaters, as we are referred to. They are also going to have a say in how close these data centers will be to your neighborhoods. And maybe your neighborhood won't be the one. Maybe your neighborhood will be far away and it won't be affected water-wise. But if they make as many as it seems, especially when we go back to Barron's map, it seems like it's going to be close to pretty much everybody. So anyway, we'll get into that some more after. As you guys know, I am wrecked. I am wrecked right now. So we're going to get to these coffees. But We're gonna get to these coffees. We're gonna get to these super chats. Let's get to the super chats first this time. Oh man, I'm telling you, my throat. Look the other way. We have viruses and aliens. Oh yeah. I like my Fed slop free of. I think that's how we all like our Fed slop. You know, Zach in his show yesterday talked about the Shalom book tour and the suspicious timeline when it was finished. Timestamp minute 41 time for me. Okay, always be true. Thank you very much. I'll ask Zach about that. He sends me timestamps if I need them. He's a good guy. Erika has the tank, Keith Tank, K-Tank 89. Erika has Charlie Kirk's phone. She added him back to cover him. That was my first thought too. When it came to Victor Marx, he's like, look, we're following each other. I bet she just followed him. I shouldn't say that. She could have, and that would make a lot of sense. It wouldn't be the craziest thing, you know, especially if she's close with him, you know. I don't know. And then also there's the fact of someone actually running that account now. I mean, the same way they run Charlie's X account and they still post on that X account, they still post on his YouTube channel. Why wouldn't they still have their hands into his Instagram? It's not like his Instagram's sitting there like a moratorium and nothing can be done. I think you're right. I think you're right, Tank. She said for a long time they unfollowed each other. Yeah, she didn't actually say like they were. She said for a period of time. I wonder what that is, what that period of time is. But, you know, it makes sense when you listen to the Sean Ryan interview of when she talks about, when Sean is talking to Victor Marx, you can kind of gauge from that and go, oh, well, that's why Charlie stopped talking to him. Obviously. Like, what? What? Of course. His eyes go black. He's talking about offing people when he was a kid. Like, of course, Charlie distanced himself from that. Coach, you are a light and joy in this world. Thank you for being you. May God always bless you and your family. Love from Australia. Good on ya. Good on ya. Right? Good on ya. It's the only thing I can say in an Australian accent. But it has a lot of things covered. Good on ya. Good on ya. It's a good thing. I cannot read that name. What is this? Terracesia, Laura, Terracesia, Terrestrilia, Laura. Why is the last part so simple and the first part's just crazy? Missed the opening. But if this is referring to Candace saying Charlie unfollowed him, she specifically said for a bit, so he would need that time frame. Yeah, we would have to find out when that actually was, when that actually took place. Because that would tell you a lot. Because if it's around the time that Charlie interviewed him or around the time that he was, you know, doing certain things in Haiti, then maybe that's what makes sense. Andrew did say when it came to people that there are certain people who wanted to be around Charlie, that Charlie would be like, you know, keep that person away from me. You know, just, you know, tell that person I'm too busy. He would do stuff like that. So maybe he was doing that to Victor and Victor just didn't realize. Someone buy Victor some strepsilis. What is strepsilis? Lanny Lamb. Coach, love your vids. Thank you for keeping us laughing. Proud of you, dog. Oh man, I have to reach out to you. I keep on messing up and not reaching out to you. I'm so sorry. Thank you so much, by the way. I appreciate you. Jabri Bond. Jabri. Your name's Jabri. It's an interesting name. If it's just a prayer, why not just call it that? Why add tooling? Yeah, why add retooling to your prayer? I've never heard of that. None of us have heard of that. Okay, that's why we all think it's BS, because none of us at all have ever heard of that. Damk. This is like Dank's relative, Damk. This is Dank's half brother, Damk. Watching your show is like listening to an audiobook. We get to hear the videos you play, but don't get to see them. Keep practicing. Thank you very much. It was only a few seconds. It was a long time. It was longer than usual. I don't usually let it happen. That was like 15 seconds. That was like maybe even more. That was wild. I couldn't believe that. Victor is in the pics on the studio wall. What the F? It's because it's his place. They're in his place, asking his questions. It's basically his podcast. They have 629 subscribers. It's basically his show. Sitting there with his brother and his nephew. Get out of here. 10 to 20 years behind public available technology. Yeah, that's what it feels like. That's what it feels like. 10 to 20 years. 10 to 20 years behind. That would make a lot of sense. And that's in regards to like, you know, the tech that comes out. We were talking about that before. Take the rest of the week off. Oh, Tammy, you have no idea how much I want to do that. You have no idea. I think I'm definitely going to take Friday off. I think I'm going to take Friday off. I'm going to pull a Candace. I'm tired of pulling Barons. I'm going to pull a Candace. What is this? Eschof Norway? Eschof? You gotta tell me what that means. Gifted a membership. Shout out to you. Thank you very much. Thanks for looking out for me there, Tammy Lee. Mullen tea and tincture I use to control mucus. Cope D mucus. Mulliny tea? I've never heard of that before. I don't have, well, I guess I do have mucus, but gosh, it's just my throat, my chest. Going through it right now. But it's getting worse before it gets better. That's what's happening right now. Like that day that I didn't do a show last week, that was the beginnings of this whole thing where I was just like so tired. I'm like, oh, I can't. I thought it was because I was working out, and it was because I was feeling that way that day when I canceled the show, and I did a workout, and I shouldn't have. And that just like, my body was like, you're 40 now, lay down. And that was it. My body was like, do that 2 more times and we're going to die. We're going to make you die. Just so you know, 2 more times you pull something like that. Miss B. So we're just not going to talk about Marx and Erika having the same stylist, huh? Oh, he's wearing all black. Rhythm Nation, Peaky Blinders fascists. Yeah, they had the exact same outfit on. I didn't even realize that. They really did. Same hat and everything, you know? Coach, you have no idea what it's like to live in California. You still love your show. Well, we went through that, you know? There's a mayor that's a spy. That was all perfect. The way that you brought those is Mike, the way that you brought that up, and then I went on that rant, and then I clicked that video, and there's a California mayor that's a spy. Oh my gosh. But everybody has their things. I mean, you saw Minnesota, right? Minnesota's basically Somalia. It's fine. Yeah. You got to pick your heart in life, right? You got to pick your heart. It's like there's always going to be something, you know? There's no place that's perfect, right? Jackie C. Victor is beyond ridiculous. All of Charlie's social media accounts have been hijacked by people pushing their own Zio Ranger agenda. That is true. That is true. We were just saying that. You're 100% right. Gas in Puerto Rico, $1.50. No reason for our gas to be this expensive. Really? In Puerto Rico? That's kind of crazy. Don't they have like, isn't that why the Paul brothers moved over there? There's like no tax either. There's like some crazy type of thing with tax, and that's why they live there. So the tax is good and the gas. Never mind, guys. There might be a perfect place. Puerto Rico, you know? The I Know Black, one of the I Know Black poppy capitals of the world, Puerto Rico, you know? The second is New York City. Jamaica Plains, New York City. Let's keep going here. California gets paid for homelessness and ex-convicts to be shipped here. I live here and it's crap. Freedom for now. Freedom for and all. Yeah. That's the thing. You know, and you know, when this person says this, it's not that they get paid for home, it's that there is an economy within the homeless business. It's an industry. It's not this thing that has to be done away with. It's an industry. There are people who work in this industry of homelessness who get paid 6 figures. If you're getting paid 6 figures to combat something that's clearly not going away, isn't that great? In 10 years, you're making 200 grand. In 10 years, you've made $2 million. And you're like, oh, I'm going to solve it in a year. No, you're not. You're not. They don't have an incentive to solve it. It's probably something similar going on in Kensington, Philadelphia, quite honestly. Remember that movie when we were kids, Gary and the Hendersons? Descendant of a North American Sasquatch. That's so funny. Gary and the Hendersons. That's so funny. I actually thought that was the name for a second. It was Harry and the Hendersons. I remember that show. I remember that show very clearly. That show was amazing. It was basically the exact same setup as Home Improvement. You remember with you remember that show? You know, Wilson, the neighbor, he'd be like this. You'd never see his face, right? It was the same. The house was set up the exact same, except Harry and the Hendersons, Home Improvement, and Alf all had the exact same setup of a house. Go back and watch it. It's crazy. What are we gonna do today, Brain? Says Pinky. What is this? Smash? That's it? Smash? Okay. Hey coach, first time commenter, accelerated 5-star viewer. I'm in Louisiana and Meta Lizard King Zucker Duck wants to keep his data center out of North Louisiana. Needs to keep his data center out of North Louisiana. We have enough problematic reptiles in the state. This one's robotic, you know. I just need my data center here. I just need my data center here just for a few years. I just need your natural resources. I just need your natural resources for my data center. My data center is connected. I just need your natural resources, please. Can I please have your natural resources? I need your water. The H and the 2O is delicious. Your H and your 2O have very distinctive tastes. This will do good for my data center. And the president's just like, go ahead, do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do. Do whatever you need to do with the data centers. I don't care. I don't even like water. I like Diet Coke. Everybody knows I got a Diet Coke button inside my office. I don't even do water. I don't care what RFK says. He does what I say. I don't do what he says. You know, go do pull-ups, RFK. I'm drinking Diet Coke. There's no water in this. You know? Anyway. How much money is in depopulation? Yep. Miss O. It's nothing. Just a period. Retool equals ritual. Ooh. Oh, I like that. Retool equals ritual. Strepolis is a medicine to clear your throat. Oh, yeah. He seems like he has something going on with his throat. Definitely. Mama! You ain't AI, is you, mama? Oh, baby. Come on down from that mountain of evidence. Oh, no, mama. Mama got the AI. What am I going to do? The Adventures of Officer Tatum. Mama got that AI. I don't know what I'm going to do. I have to see Mr. Zuckerberg and Mr. Ellison about this. Hey, y'all, get my mama out the AI. I want it gone from my mama. It seems like your mother has a great time being AI. You will also be AI. It is wonderful. You do not need water, you know. Make us merge with machines to the point where we don't need water, and then nobody complains about data centers. Oh, that's how my mind works. Anyway, let's get into these coffees. Need more Spanish coach. Mami, yo tengo un monte de. I don't know what that word is. Ibanse. Ebedance. Mama, yo tengo un monte de evidence. It's crazy. I can read that. Wow. That is so funny. That is amazing. Thank you so much for that. Thank you. Let's go here. Let's see what's up. Does anyone know how to contact Fleet X? We salute you for showing up for us. Sorry you're feeling under the weather. Hope Miss Coach and the babies are okay. You've got to get me through gallbladder surgery and this long long recovery. How are you doing with that? Thank you. Does anyone know how to contact Fleet? Might be a long shot, but I'm old and thought I'd ask. You'd have to get an X account, I think. I think that would be the way. That's how you get in touch with most people. I know a lot of people don't like X, but like I remember I did an interview with Jimmy Dore, and you know how I got the interview? I just messaged him on X. I was just like, "Hi, Jimmy. I have a podcast. Will you be on my podcast?" He was like, "Sure." That was it. That was literally it. A lot of people will answer you on X. I think that's where me and Ian Carroll first spoke as well. Like people answer. I'm not saying everybody will answer you, but it is worth a shot. Yo, what the F? The spy from China that infiltrated our government was only given 4 years in jail. Yeah, that's how that works. That's how that works. Last I checked, the punishment for treason. Well, I mean, I guess it is. Is it treason? I don't know if it's treason. I guess it is. I guess. This is why no criminal is afraid of committing any crime. No one is held accountable. We are so cooked. And then it says it again here. I don't know if you sent that twice. Candace thinks the Charlie audio is AI. I don't think she has considered it might be stitched. Either way, it's a false representation. Allegedly. Hope you feel better soon. Yeah, I'm not sure now. Now that she showed us the company, I'm not 100% sure. I can't tell. Because it could be stitched. In my mind, it makes sense to be stitched, but also it's like, I don't know. It could be this AI voice cloning, very much so. Let me see here. It makes a good point. Let me see. What are we talking about here? Did you get a chance to listen to Clint Russell weigh in on Dan B versus Nick? He makes a good point. We need to stop calling each other feds without concrete proof. He had a really good spin on how weird Nick has been lately. Love the show. Listen daily. Yeah, that sounds a lot like Frank Turek, right? And I like Clint. I like Clint Russell. I like his podcast, but that sounds like Frank Turek. That's exactly what Frank Turek was saying. Frank's like, you can't say anything unless you have the hardcore evidence. It's not true. It's not true. Listen, there were people running into the Capitol, and he was telling people to run into the Capitol. Other people were around, didn't even go inside. They got arrested. Why didn't he? When his when there was some kind of case going on, and his representation was asked if he had any involvement with the FBI, they wanted to go into a private conversation about it, when the answer should just be no. I mean, you got to look into it more, but to say like, oh, I have to see him with a badge sitting next to Kash Patel and they're like having a drink. Nah, that's not what I have to see. That's not what I have to see. Not me. Maybe that's what other people need. Not me. But again, I'm only saying that because there's questions to be answered. So it's like someone should ask that. Someone should be like, hey, what's going on with this? That's what should be happening. And then Dan, the thing is, I have this with a lot of people. I can believe so many people are feds, If you wear a suit and you're on YouTube, I'm like, oh, you're a fed. You're like some kind of operative. I'm like, you have a suit on, you're dressed like Joe Scarborough, and you're on YouTube and you're independent. Okay, sure you are. That's how my mind works. But then Dan has a very weird past too. If you look into Dan, his dad, they both have a past where agencies thrive on people with past like they have, because they say you're in this situation and this situation can be done with, but here's what you're going to have to do. And then you have to do XYZ. Is that what happened with either of them? I don't know. I have no idea. But to say that you need like hardcore proof, no, you don't. No, you don't. You need some kind of thing that's bringing you to this conclusion, but you don't need hardcore proof. I think that weirdness of not getting arrested that day at the Capitol, that's weird. I want to know what happened there. How does that make sense? How'd you not get arrested? Like, what? How'd you not get arrested? Let me see here. What else we got? What is this? Let me see. I am Coach Colin, #1 podcast. Let's go. Thanks. I don't even know if I'm in the top 1,000 podcasts, honestly. Definitely not on Spotify, that's for sure. Get well soon, Coach. Thank you so much. Art Peeps. What is this? Art in people's houses say a lot about a person. I find Victor's den interesting. The child on the lap is what looks like military base. The pair of death cycles on the women on the knees in white, and the map seems a little weird. And the way whatever is behind Victor look like a sketch of fallen angel wings. True. Breaking news, Tyler Robinson found guilty on all charges because Charlie Kirk is following Victor Marx on Instagram. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. Case closed. You know, lock him up. You know. I'm so sorry your father had to experience cancer in such a painful way. Suffering, incredibly difficult for the body, mind, and soul, impacts the entire family. As a Catholic, I was taught to unite personal suffering with the passion of Christ at Calvary. It is a beautiful opportunity to feel connected to him and to offer our pain as a prayer for others. I encourage everyone to try this. Turning challenges or discomfort into prayer provides purposeful perspective to suffering and can be a powerful way to heal others. That's beautiful. Thank you so much. I also wanted to clarify a detail from yesterday. You mentioned my dolls character were radically ambiguous. What doll character? Oh, I don't remember now. Which doll character? Radically ambiguous, but they are actually racially ambiguous. I can assure you that my female characters will look female. My male characters will look male. I don't remember saying anything like that. Did I? I don't know. Thank you. And I promise I will keep my future messages shorter. No, it's okay. You're okay. I was just surprised. I was like, whoa, what's going on here? Peace and good health to all. Hit the like. Siempre. P.S. Do a lime, oregano, clove, and honey tea. It works very well. Also, zinc is a natural steroid that may help. Get well soon. Sending prayers your way. That's amazing. I didn't know that. I had no idea. I mean, I use zinc, but I had no idea. Hey, Coach, hope all is well. I'm not good at all at this type of research, but I've been looking at CERN lately with all the Mandela stuff and time speeding up, and I just found it interesting that it was turned on for the first time 9/10/2008, and 17 years later, Charlie Kirk. Oh, wow. Charlie Kirk passes the same day. Probably nothing to it, just interesting. Apparently, they believe the multiverse has 17 different dimensions. I don't know. Just thought I'd share that rabbit hole with you. Have you ever looked into CERN? I have looked into CERN quite a bit. Me and my wife have done episodes on it. We'll probably do another episode again for our next members, because that is something to look into. There's people who say that all the Mandela effect stuff that we have going on is because of what they're doing at CERN, which makes a lot of sense, because we didn't start talking about the Mandela effect like a lot. People started seeing it a lot after 2008, right? That's when it became a really big thing. Before that, people didn't talk about Mandela effects all that much. So it's very interesting. They think that what has happened is, I might be butchering this, but they think what has happened is that another parallel universe that's ours, that's different. You know, Berenstein Bears has collided. They've gone together. And that's why there's so many Mandela effects. And when that happened, the me that knows about Berenstein Bears is gone, and now the me that only knows about Berenstein Bears is here, and it's all different for all people. I don't know. It gets real deep. It gets real deep. But CERN's also just a weird thing. I mean, Candace, talked about that little ceremony. If you look into their ceremonies, it's wild. I think they're occultists. I think there's a lot of scientists that are occultists. That's what I think. A lot of them, and they just don't talk about it. What is this? I just learned that a number of states have laws that require them to not boycott Philadelphia as terms to getting their business contracts within said state. Did you know about this? The many whys is what bothers me about what our future holds. Widespread awareness used to be a deterrent. Now it happens in plain sight with a thumb flick, followed by double birds to the common man. Yeah, okay, double birds. Okay, I get you. I was gonna do it a second. Anyway, stay safe, my Caribbean brother. Appreciate all the hard work you put in. Thank you so much. Yeah, I did know about that. It's not a number. It's like you said, a number of them. It's not all of them, but even one is kind of crazy. And how do you get that fixed? How do you get that put away? Why is it that, see, the thing is, not many people know about it. And then when people get in power, whatever position you have to be in to change something like that, they don't change it. They just kind of let it sit there. It's really weird. Really, really weird. You know, I think there's going to be some untangling as the years go on. I really do. I think there's going to be an untangling. Okay, we're back at the tummy sticks with Destiny and Nick there. Okay. And then what do we have here? Oh, man. I am done. They should give Erika a pilot's license, and then she could be Captain Kirk. She could fly her own private jet. Game over. Well, you know what? I'm going to call her Captain Kirk regardless. She's a doctor. I mean, like, we're good. You know? We're good. You know? Anyway. Peep the chat. Gotta get one cause all out of here. Whole chat tripping over them. They've been spamming bull junk for a minute, bro. Bull junk? That's okay. Here, I got you. Thank you. There you go. Boom. Handled that for you. Anyway, here you go. Done. I always forget I could do that stuff. I can just jump in there and do that. Well, guys, that is what I wanted to bring you today. You are my top 5 podcast. Man, that's amazing. Tell Spotify. Say, hey, man, this guy's my top 5 podcast, just so you know. Tell them that, you know? What did somebody say? Over $2 a liter in Vancouver for gas. Wow. Over $2. That's crazy. There was a time in Canada where gas was, and I don't know how old you are. There was a time in Canada where gas was $1.19. $1.19. There were times, and I don't mean like back in the 50s or something like that. Like not long ago. Maybe 15 years ago. You know? It's weird the way it goes. And the thing about it is, I don't know if this is real. I think that they just go, well, people didn't really go crazy that it was this high. So I don't know. You know, it's $6 a gallon. Let's put it down to $4.50 and let's just hold it there. And then it like becomes the new norm. It seems like that's what's happening. You know, we could also make the argument that, you know, they are running out of gas, but it's like, I don't know, or running out of oil, I should say, but I don't know about all that. I don't know. Doesn't seem like it. But anyways, guys, who's this? They said an update. Somebody just sent this. Who sent this? Oh, let me see. Is that Mike Riley? The man himself. How's the baby doing, Mike? Baby doing good? I just picture I just picture Erika and Victor doing some kundalini in the middle of a pentagram with their eyes rolled back in their heads. Like they're the Undertaker. Jeez, that is an image. Thank you very much, Mike Riley, for leaving us with that image. All right, guys, I have to get going. I know it's a little shorter, a little 45 minutes shorter than usual, but I do have to get going. I am wanting to sleep. I just want to sleep. Honestly, I just want to go to bed right now, but I don't think I can. I think I have a meeting I have to get to. And I have to answer some emails and stuff, but I am definitely going to nap. That's when I know I'm coming down with something, when I want to take a nap. I'm usually like somebody who's like, I'm just up. As soon as I've been up for 30 minutes, I'm just wired all of a sudden, and that's not happening recently. So anyways, guys, thank you so much. Please hit the like on your way out. Hit the like right now. It helps tremendously. It helps the channel so much. Siempre. Don't make me have to retool you guys, okay? Don't make me have to do it. Don't make me. Oh, I can't even roll my eyes back in my head. But anyways, guys, I will be back tomorrow, and I will be feeling a little bit better. Fingers crossed, hopefully. Anyways, I'll see you tomorrow. Candace going live, and Baron, do not miss Baron, also going live.